y'all. Welcome to Teapot, where we try to see the world with a little more color. I'm your host, P-Jay, and that is Makai. And we have an exciting episode for you today. We delve into the Jay-Z and Colin Kaepernick drama. And did we take sides? How do we feel about it? And then we had a little talk about the elders and voguing and the youngers, their opinions on that, and whether or not, there should be classes for that to be taught and what that community looks like. We played a new segment game called 8 Nibbled or Stars. And we gave our tea tales today, plus a bonus surprise reaction at the end of the video, which you have to wait to see.
Y'all gonna gag.
I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you that they showed me something and I had a real raw in the moment reaction, and y'all we're gonna have a good time.
Yes.
So enjoy the episode. Let's get it started. Whoop! Let's go. Welcome to episode 3 of Teapot. I'm so excited to be in here with Makai again. And let's get right into it because we have some really interesting things to talk about today, as you guys heard. So the first thing I want to talk about is, have you heard about this Jay-Z and Kaepernick beef that's happening right now?
No, I don't follow Jay-Z's journey.
Well, so I'm a member of the Beehive, been a long-time member since like the 90s. And I will say, as a Beehiver, we do protect Mama Beyonce, the queen, but that protection does not extend to Jay-Z. So therefore, when I come at Jay-Z, Beehive, he's not part of the protected class. And he cheated on the queen. Listen, he ain't getting nothing from me. He gets no freebies. So Jay-Z went up there and did some like concert something. I don't know, because I also don't follow his career like that. But he decided he wanted to take jabs at Kaepernick because Kaepernick has started coming up again recently because he's thrown money to help with the Nolan Wells case. I think the funeral, he paid for the funeral or something like that.
Which is also crazy because how can you come for a black icon like Colin Kaepernick? He literally, the kneeing during the national anthem, that was revolutionary when I was in high school. That was like, oh, y'all wanted to twist? Like, sit my ass the fuck down.
I see it as like a microcosm of the giant fight that we're having as a society between like the elite and the activists. I think that Jay-Z represents a part of black culture that is the elite blacks, or want to be considered the elite blacks. And I think that Colin Kaepernick represents an activist class of our black community, and they have never gotten along because, in my opinion, I'm gonna talk about it in a second, but in my opinion, it's because too many of the elite class of blacks want to put themselves in some hierarchical system within the black community where they sit at the top and everybody listens to them and they have all this control. An activist seek to break down a hierarchy and bring even all these people of color who got that money and forgot about where they came from, bring them back to where they came from. Exactly. And I think that that's what the fight is that Jay-Z and Kaepernick have always had a fundamental difference in how to do community outreach. But
already am irritated. I just don't. Here's the thing, and we're gonna get into it later. Once you reach a certain status, you have a certain responsibility as a black person. Once you reach a certain status, you have a responsibility to your community to be a role model, to be a I'll quote Dominique Morgan. She says possibility model, which I actually really like. A possibility model, like you serve as representation for something greater than yourself. And so when all I'm gonna say is coons irritate me. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know. I'm not naming names, but coons irritate me. And it's like, once you get to a certain level, once you get to a certain point and a certain status, like it's tacky. It's corny. It's not tea. Like, why are you? Why I could say so much that is maybe not going to be the most productive in this conversation, but it really irks me. So for me, Colin Kaepernick is someone who also Colin gets it on all sides. Colin is getting it from the white man, from sports fans, from all the people who shit on black people for being black. Like, we don't need our own people. Like, it's a no for me. Did you find your stuff, P-Jay?
I found a video. I think I'm just gonna look up the actual quote freestyle quote, and it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy.
Because that's just wild to me. Like, how are you gonna, especially there's been a real. Go ahead.
So he said about Colin Kaepernick, he said, and I quote, "They run out of characters, had to bring back up Cap again. Buddy took a check, I ain't even mad at him. But along with that check, you have to sign a non-disparagement. I'm the one they can't control."
Wow. Sorry, I'm just gagging.
He also had something that he had to say about the Target boycott that we did.
Wait,
and what he started it off with that. And what he said was, "They say I sold out. Yeah, I did sell out. 3 nights, I sold Yankee Stadium the hell out." And then continued saying, "You shopping at Amazon or you boycotting, you posting on Instagram, that's meta, boy, stop it."
What? Okay. I mean, I get what he's saying. I can look, this is, I think, part of a larger conversation about like the picking and choosing of the boycotting. Like, okay, yeah, we can say boycott Target, but we still shop on, actually, let me wake this the fuck up. I don't shop at Amazon. I don't shop at Target. That is not my tea. I am very much a thrifter. I am very much a local business diva. That is me. But I do understand the like irritation that comes with like the picking and choosing. And sometimes I think people like to be selective about that irritation of the, oh, well, I'm still going to shop at Amazon because you still use Meta. So I'm still going to use Amazon. And it's like harm reduction, diva, but that's a whole.
I find the conversation to be reductive. I feel like we're in a situation in our country where things have monopolies. And so it is hard to find different places. And if you're in certain neighborhoods, it can be more expensive to go out and spend that extra money. And if you're already in a position where you don't have a lot of money to be spending in general, spending a little extra on something local when you can get it off of online, it just doesn't give you a good incentive structure. I'm somebody who does use Amazon, but I don't use Amazon, if that makes sense. Let me clarify. When I need like furniture and things like that I don't have the capability to drive over, and I don't, being safe now in this particular political climate, I try not to go outside unless I have to. And under circumstances like that, with those particular things, then I will order those off of Amazon. I will, unless I can find them on like, I've gotten stuff off of Wayfair before, to avoid it. But I will do things like that through Amazon that going to a store and trying to find is either hard to do or it doesn't feel safe for me to do that. But I wish, instead of complaining about how people are still shopping at Target and Amazon, I wish that these Black leaders that we've given our Black dollars to and elevated through our Black communities would put that money back in our communities to create our own grocery stores, to create our own online Amazon type gig, and to challenge that in a way. And the fact that they'd rather stand up there and bitch at us about how we choose to protest with what little power that we have, when they're sitting here as one of the richest people on this planet, Jay-Z, one of the richest Black men on this planet, Jay-Z, and I haven't seen what has Jay-Z really done for the Black community recently? And I'm not saying that to be rude. I just mean like,
they gonna eat you up, girl. They gonna eat you up.
Eat me up, but answer the fucking question. What has he done for the Black community recently except for get Black people to sing at the damn halftime show?
Clip it. You're not wrong though. I mean, look, I cannot name you one thing, unfortunately.
and I just, that's all I've seen him do. He tried to do like the challenge to Spotify, which ended up being a mess and created drama between the people. That's what it was called, which ended up being a mess, got sued, and ended up having to give a lot of people some money back. Oh, wow. But Jay-Z, listen, Jay-Z is hush for like 90% of the year, and he only really wakes up around football time and when he has a gig that somebody gave him because they decided they like his music. And I don't mind Jay-Z's music, but let's call it for what it is. Jay-Z is not this Black community leader that he wants to be. He's let me not say that word. He's a man with money who now sees himself as a position of higher than everybody else. And unlike Kaepernick, is unwilling to put his career and his self online to support the very community that helped him get there. He'd rather make diss tracks telling us that we're not shit and that he's better than us and he worked hard and we didn't do shit while gathering up our black money and going against our black community leaders who are actually out there doing the work and putting themselves, their body on the line. I want to talk about some things because I did look it up.
Okay.
I did look up what Jay-Z has done versus what Kaepernick has done for the black community, to be fair.
Get the receipt.
So here's a couple of things that Jay-Z has done. He works with the NFL and he produces the halftime show.
A historically racist institute. Ooh, continue.
And then he also has the Sean Carter Foundation that works on criminal justice reform.
Okay.
Those are the only two things I could find. When it comes to Kaepernick, and I try to keep it fair, I chose a couple of things as well. So it's like he knelt against police brutality at the expense of his job. And he has this Know Your Rights camp for higher education, self-empowerment, and legal rights instructions.
Okay.
Those are specifically within communities. So for me, when you're talking about visibility, I can see, I see Rock Nation as a brand that you sell to Black people so that they can wear your logo, but I don't see an investment in Black communities to get those other people who started where you started to get their come up and be able to take care of themselves and take care of their families and even have a chance at supporting their dreams. So when you sit up there and you lecture us about how we choose to protest the things that are happening to us while you don't sit in community with us, and while quite frankly, you don't give the money, you don't enrich the community, and you don't really do very much for us, except you don't go up on public and say things against like queer people and other poor people. I'm sorry, but there needs to be more. I think we need to hold all of our Black community leaders to a higher standard. We gave them this money. We gave them this visibility. They are up there on our backs. So the fact that they're up there and they want to bitch at us and do holier than thou nonsense towards us, that's our fault because we allowed them to do that.
Now,
we set up how we're treated. We create the boundaries. We create the permission structure for how the people that we give money to treat us. And people like him, he's not the only one. He's just getting it right now. There are other leaders that we have in our community right now who have done the same thing, who've gotten a little bit of money, gotten a little bit of fame, gotten to a particular bourgeois class, and immediately turns around and says, fuck them. I don't owe them nothing. And that's why celebrity, I think, is a problem.
Here's what. First of all, we said we were not going to get political on this podcast. We said it, P-Jay. We said it, and you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't think this is political. This isn't about Republican or Democrat. This is about what's happening in our community. Ain't nobody care about that politics shit. I'm saying this man is standing in front of us and trying to be a Black leader for us, and yet he consistently turns around.
Now hold on. Here's what I think, because this is an interesting conversation. Do we actually think that Jay-Z wants to be a Black political figure for us, or is he doing it for the money? Because I would argue that has Jay-Z, and I'm not the Jay-Z expert, but from the mythos of Jay-Z, and I think that's sometimes more important than the reality of Jay-Z sometimes. But in the mythos of Jay-Z, you know, he was this grungy underground rapper doing the thing that like nobody else was doing, coming up in an era with Kanye and all these other rappers who weren't doing it like Jay-Z, and his flow was something that really got him his notoriety. So like he started off doing it for the culture and doing it for the love of the game, and then like you said, he got to a certain level and it just kind of became more about the clout chasing and writing the check and shitting on, you know, people who are not as fortunate or not as lucky to have kind of made it to the mainstream. And so I think my question to you is like, at what point does something change? Like, you know, I think of like a T.S. Madison, who is, you know, mainstream in a sense and is like a part of the culture, you know, is doing things for the culture. And I watch her podcast, and it seems to me in the mythos of T.S. Madison, it seems like she wants to give back and she wants to feed the community. So at what, you know, But there's also the kind of white gaze and the way that like you have to placate the white gaze in order to maintain your status in the mainstream. So I'm curious about like where that line is. Like, who are some celebrities maybe that like do a good job of I think of Jennifer Lewis maybe as like a mainstream person who
I think of
maintains her
like,
activism.
and to be fair, or to directly respond to that, you can do things for the white gaze, but does that mean you put down black people in the process of doing that? I think
Mm.
I, I made this criticism a couple episodes ago, but I'll say it again. If you have to put down a community of people to get your comeuppance or to feel like you have to stay in your spot, do you really do you
Mm.
deserve to be in that spot?
Mm.
So when I think about black people who I think are doing things for the community that I think are good, I think that we have to talk about like a 50 Cent. Now, 50 Cent is clearly a conservative. We know he's a conservative. We don't expect 50 Cent to vote the correct way anytime. He has clearly said many times that he cares about the money more than any of us. He has made that completely clear. That being said, he takes his black money, he creates or helps with a network that does black media. He hires black actors. He elevates these black actors, the ones who get canceled or fallen on hard times. If he hears about it, he hits them up and he gets them in their stuff. I think of Power.
Yep.
He highlights the hypocrisy um, from our community in his particular class as it pertains to what happened with like the Diddy situation. And he would be someone who I consider to be a good example of giving back to the community, even though I don't agree with his political voting, right? I would say another
That's
one
very
is,
mature of you, PJ. That's very mature. You've grown a lot.
I mean, I think the same thing about Ice Cube. A lot of people got mad at him because he went up to Donald Trump, and now we're talking about slightly
Yep.
politics, but this is the truth. Because he went up to Donald Trump and he suggested that plan. And I was critical of it at the time too, but at the same time, like at least he was doing something. He saw the way the tides were going, and he tried to get in there early to try to do something for us. Did it ultimately end up working? No. But these are people who I see trying. I think of Taraji P. Henson, who consistently goes out there and spreads messages and does a lot of outreach. I think of Tracy Ellis Ross as well.
Yeah.
So I think that Jennifer Hudson is another one. Like there are plenty, but yeah, Jay-Z, this wasn't it. And as a fan of yours, kind of like this wasn't it. This wasn't it.
Yeah, I think and I this is the last thing I want to say on it. Um I do think, like you said earlier, it is like a class issue, right? Like I think Jay-Z as a black person who is a billionaire is out of touch with the black people who are not billionaires and who are living in America right now in this country day to day, like literally, talking about like not going outside because it's not safe. Like Jay-Z's not worried about his day-to-day interactions with white supremacy. Jay-Z is worried about how he's going to get his next check, and sometimes it's doing a freestyle about someone who, I mean, literally he's at a football game trash talking Colin Kaepernick. What are we doing? But they eat that up. They're like see, and they give him his check, and it's
And
sad.
he's rich, he makes his money, he takes care of his children. So all power to you. Like that's all you really need in this life, I guess.
But we have a little bit of time before we take a break. Why don't we talk about the KJ thing that you wanted to talk about?
Ooh, absolutely. So anybody who knows me knows giant Riverdale fan. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Specifically, it's for Cole Sprouse. Cole Sprouse is my unofficial husband. My partner knows that is my hall pass. He does. I've followed his career since he was on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, which isn't weird because he's only 1 year older than me. So we are the same age. Him and his brother. So his brother Dylan, I guess either has a podcast or was on a podcast. It's called Wild Men Podcast, and they brought on KJ Apa, who played Archie in Riverdale. If you don't know what Riverdale is, it's basically like the Archie comics brought to life and given like a horror thriller spin, if you will. And it's very adult. I enjoyed it for what it was. um,
I love Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf was like my jam. So don't like I'm not judging. I don't watch Riverdale, but I'm not judging.
I have to defend myself because there was definitely a time, and I know the time and the seasons weren't good where people were like Riverdale sucks, and there were a few seasons where yeah. But if you watch that last season, it was okay. But anyway, they brought on the lead, and he got into a conversation about his struggle with like addiction and bulimia and things like that. And one of the things he talked about is they were talking about Cole Sprouse, and they were talking about how he likes to fight. I think that's funny. I have a friend who went to college at the same time that both the Sprouse brothers were there. And he did say that most people did not like interacting with Cole because Cole was rude and Cole did like to fight. So that does track from what I've heard.
Wow.
But he was KJ was talking about how, because him and Cole are really close, and he was talking about how he had relapsed. And so he was back on drugs and doing things. And they were at the club, and he was talking about how Cole found out that he was back on drugs, and he punched him. He gave him like a wake-up punch, and then he like ran off. And that really kind of was eye-opening to him. So my question...
Okay, no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
My question for you is, have you ever had to intervene in your friend's like destructive behavior, and how did it go?
Girl, oh girl. Girl, first of all, I want to know, where was the punch? Was it a gut punch? Was it a punch in the face?
In the face. It was in the face. They did say they did say it wasn't like a with a shoulder punch. They did say it was like a which is how I punch. So like I was like, hey, we're artistic types. Like that's not what we're not.
Wow. Like, LOL. Yes, to answer your question, I am very often the voice of reason. And if you're watching this, my friends out there, you know, let's wake this up. I am the kind of person who likes to sit back and watch, and I will give advice. Like I will send you, if you tell me your problems in the comments below, send a DM, tell me your problems. I will give you advice. Like my advice is always rooted in positivity, in love, in care. Like I want you to be the best version of yourself. I might sit on the sideline and laugh. I might encourage some messiness, like I'm trying to think of a situation.
We know that about you.
I'm trying to think of a situation like I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like sometimes. Okay, this is one that's coming to my mind. Sorry if you're listening to this. One of my friends, I won't name names. One of my friends basically was like messing around with this straight guy. And I was like, he basically explained that he basically was like out and about. He was out like drinking one night and then was like on the way home. It was dark. It was late. It was like a later interaction in the evening. And this guy, he was just like, this guy was hot sitting on his balcony, and he like called up to this guy like, hey, do you want a piece of this? To this literally just like out in this, yes, just like out in this is like back home, not in Chicago. So he like called up and was like, hey, like, you want some of this? And the guy was like, huh? And he was like, do you want some of this? And there was like somebody on the like level below the guy he was screaming up to that was looking at him crazy. And so the guy on the top of the balcony was like, what? No, like, what the fuck? Like, da 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 da. But like was trying to like whisper down his number to my friend. Long story short, they ended up linking up, and
of course they did.
And my friend was like, you know, I'm starting to initiate, like we're getting into a situationship. We're hooking up more. He was just on my, like, this is, you know, like days later, he's like, oh, he's back on my phone, blah, 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 blah. We're trying to link up again. And I was like, listen, Diva, you know, I love that you're fulfilling this like fantasy of getting with a straight guy, but it's dangerous. You know, we talked about it a couple episodes ago. DL men, they can be dangerous, and if you continue down this road, don't be mad when it blows up in your face. Lo and behold, it blew up in his face. The girlfriend found out, was on his phone, was on my friend's phone, trying to figure it out. It was
girlfriend. He had a girlfriend?
Yes.
Oh Lord.
Yes, Messiana Dupree, de Balenciaga. It was not it.
Like telling y'all to leave these straight boys alone.
Leave these straight boys alone. Okay, thank you. We should take a break.
I was gonna.
Oh,
am also one of those people who. Did you hang up?
No, you just cut out there for a second. You cut out.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm definitely. I understand that. I'm one of those. I always say if you want advice from me, like don't come for me advice if you don't want to hear the truth, and if you don't want your feelings hurt. I'm nobody's yes person. I will always give you what I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I'm not going to coddle your feelings. I'm not going to say it in a kind way. I'm going to say it in a loving way to help you. And if that means you cuss me out in the moment or you scream or you get mad at me for a week or two, okay, go ahead, get it out your system. But when you bring your ass back, I expect us to not have this issue again.
Yeah, heavy on that. Once I give the advice, that's it. Like, don't.
And if you're going to keep doing it, don't ask me for advice the first time because I don't like re-giving the same advice.
Ooh, if you're just heavy on that. Okay. Before we keep going, P-Jay, we got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, welcome to Teapot, the transpective podcast where we try to see the world with a little more color.
So,
should I have poured myself some wine this morning?
You should have poured yourself a glass of wine, a little mimosa.
With a new format.
I'm done. I've had it. I'm over it.
Do things different. Do different shows.
And this face.
Do you?
Girl.
You think I got a bag? You think I got a pay?
There is.
Host P-Jay.
Not the kiss.
Joined by a new co-host, Makai.
I think it's tacky. I think it's tired. I think it's played out.
Laugh.
Oh my god.
What's the next question?
Get real.
Yeah.
There is a smaller portion of us who are a lot louder, who focus so much on things that don't advance us, such as homophobia and transphobia and misogyny, and in some cases, a little bit of prejudice towards some of the other groups.
Wake it up.
To be honest.
90% of the issue is that they don't want us to have the reins because they don't trust our vision, they don't trust our ideas. It's crazy. We're the most educated generation in American history, and they don't want to let us lead. They don't care about our ideas. They think we're dumb. It's weird.
Teapot, hosted by P-Jay and Makai. New videos every Friday at 5 p.m.
Hey all, we are back. Makai, you
Yes.
wanted to bring something up for this next segment?
Yes, I want to read you a quote from Leiomy, the icon, the legend Leiomy, because this gagged me. It got me together, and I want to hear your thoughts. So this is from a Facebook post that came across my feed when I was just scrolling on Facebook one day. It was a couple days ago. Sorry, it's just so good. Okay. Hey, performers of this generation, y'all do know there's more than one style of voguing, right? It seems like nowadays everybody wants to vogue the same. No hands, barely a catwalk, 2-second duck walks, and just lots of spinning, hopping around, pausing, and just random dips. This is why I personally missed the separation of soft versus dramatics. It actually gave the performers a lane to stick to while voguing down at the same time. And then the legends don't make it any better. I get it, we want to come out and play around after not being out or whatever, but the studio should be the first visit before. LOL, legendary and iconic performance is supposed to be a lesson to the generation now, to showcase why you're a legend or iconic in your category. Then the judges don't even care to be stern, LOL. They just let everybody through and then they vote for the most wild performers, LOL. There's so much talent but not enough structure with the category and y'all hate to hear it. Before y'all take this as a read, like everything else, I say just pay attention to the message, babes. And then people in the comments are like, people have been saying this, everybody need, people in the comments saying this is why we need classes, but no, this means everybody not meant to vogue and that's what needs to be instilled. So when I read that, I'm gonna be so completely honest. I do not have qualifications in Vogue. I want to learn how to Vogue so it is like when I go in the club, I know my little like nogging, like basic bitch, like it's not cute tricks in the club, but like I want to learn how to Vogue down. But when Leiomy said that, Leiomy like, she gathered the girls because I kind of agree. Like,
it's just
there's just something about, like, voguing now. And look, I didn't get to see Cat's Jellicle Ball. I'm gonna try to find the video. I really want to see it, but I'm just like, this is just another.
And talk about it.
I will. This is just one of the like things that I am frustrated with in the community when it comes to like legends and icons kind of like re-emerging and resurfacing, and just like, I don't know, like there's something about, we obviously we're just talking about like figures in the community and like the celebrities in the Black community, but like to me, as an, and I'm sorry, I want to be very clear, I'm talking about queer icons right now. I'm not talking about just the general Black community.
Absolutely.
I think that I agree. I feel like now this is what I'm trying to get at. Mm-hmm. I feel like the younger generation of Black queer people have been struggling to find their voice. And I know for me as a young Black queer person, like, I'm so grateful to have like our trans elders and seeing like shows like Drag Race and seeing these, you know, queer out celebrities who are able to like talk more, and like Duran Bernard, someone who really has been an inspiration for me recently. And so, like, I do think that there is a certain status and a certain mentorship that these legends are supposed to be able to, like, provide Absolutely. The younger generations. But I just feel like, there's a disconnect. And I feel like right now, the younger generation don't want to listen. And I feel like the older generation low-key doesn't want to teach. And there's just, like, a disconnect happening. So what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I feel like you can say that exact same statement and plug it into any industry right now across the globe, and that would be true. I do think this is so interesting. Voguing is an interesting one. So I used to do drag all the time, right? And when you do drag, you see a whole collection and a whole variety of skill with voguing. You mostly see a lot of nogging. I've been known to do a crunchy duck walker 3. But you know, to be fair, I don't think that there are classes for how to do it. I've actually looked up how to do I want to learn how to do the whacking, actually. Yes. If you know what that is. I want to learn how to whack, because I don't, with my hip injury that I have, I can't really be getting down and doing all that duck walking, but these hands, baby, I want to be able to do things with that, but you can't find classes on that. You can't find people who are teaching those things, right? And so I do think as somebody who, in some industries, I'd be considered some type of queer elder in my 30s. A lot of us are younger. We have to be willing to teach the youth our skills. We have to be able to set that example. We have to be willing to do that. Because I do think that a lot of it is that we just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because then we feel old, and then we feel like maybe our time is coming up and we gotta pass the torch. And we're not trying to pass that torch yet, because we're like, I still got it. What you mean?
Yeah.
But on the other side, I do think, and this is true, that this is fun because we have a millennial and a Gen Zer on this, and I'm sure about to talk about your generation for a second. Your generation don't want to hear shit that we have to say, and I think that that's just what it is. We could go out there, we could offer the class, we could offer that class to y'all. We could say, come on in here. We'd get 2 people. And they would have opinions, so we wouldn't even be able to really teach them, because they'd be too busy arguing with us about how it's taught, or how to do X, Y, and Z, or maybe the way that we do, and it just becomes too much. So it's an interesting thing to figure out how to do that particular thing in our community, and societally. But I do think that if you do not know the culture of voguing, because that is a culture, that is not just like a thing, right? Like, oh, this is a cute thing I kind of do. Like, that's a whole culture. Like, people train for that. People go to balls, and that's part of like their act. Like, there are people whose act when they do the ball is to vogue. There are people who walk the runway. There are hosts, and there are people who vogue. If you don't understand that, go watch like Pose. Pose gives a great example of that particular culture.
No. Go watch Paris is Burning.
And Paris is Burning.
And
I did
Pose.
recently watch that, by the way, too. Watch them both. And I cried. I cried during Paris is Burning, but a little bit too much. But it was just, watch these things.
Here's also, I really love that you there's a point that I wanted to bring up, and it was two things, but here's what I will say first. I think with the Gen Z of it all, I do think something that I like about Vogue is like you do have to find it. Like Vogue finds you, you find Vogue, Vogue finds you, and like the fact that there aren't classes, I think really keeps it. Like some things, I think I'm starting to realize that some things do need to be kept in Black culture and in queer culture. Like some things do need to be like secrets, some things do need to be the back rooms, some things do need to be like the gay bar. Like not everything needs to be mainstream, and I think voguing obviously is mainstream now with the Jellicle Ball, but even that feels niche still. Like I just feel like there does need to be a level of like secrecy with these things, and I appreciate that about Vogue. And to the point,
real quick to just ask a question.
Yeah.
To the to my voguers and my people in that particular ballroom community, what is the best way that you want us to learn from you?
Yeah, that's a good question.
My question. Like, comment or do something. What is the best way that you want people who may not be in that ballroom culture or be dancers like that or have that training? What is the best way for us to get into that culture? Is that showing up to the balls in part and just kind of doing it? Is that finding by word of mouth who these elders are and hitting them up directly? Like, how do you want them to do that?
This is something.
Go ahead and continue your point. I'm so sorry. I was thinking about that as you were speaking.
This is also something that they were talking about in the comments of Leiomy's post, because a lot of people are saying voguing is not for everyone. And I also agree with that. Like, I think that I hesitate to even be like, how do we learn? Because like, I think the blueprint is there. Like you have to watch the videos, you have to do the research, you have to do your homework. And I think that's like, I think in terms of the like teaching versus Gen Z not listening conversation, I think that Gen Z, there is the Gen Z that feels like, oh, well, I can just watch Legendary and I can just watch Pose and I can just, you know, go online and watch the videos and like mimic it. And like, it could, you know, maybe it's nogging, but like, they're not entrenched in the culture. They're not getting the feedback from the legends, from the people who actually do that. So there is, I can see the world, I can see both worlds. I can see the world where there's like the do-it-yourself world, and I can see the world where there's classes. But the thing that worries me about classes is it getting watered down, and the people, these kind of people being able to access it so easily.
I think about the Olympic breakdancing shenanigans.
It was a chop. Completely.
You know, she was feeling herself. She was feeling herself. I was like, I'm glad, you know, I'm glad that for you, you felt that you ate. I understand. So when we talk about like breakdancing, because I was just thinking about it in that lens as well, for people who may not like have a connection to voguing, but like have a connection to like a b-boying and breakdancing thing. That's also not something where they have like b-boy classes. You just kind of sit in community with people who do it, and they teach you. And so maybe it's not necessarily having classes, because we've learned, especially as people in a culture, that when you open up a cultural thing for everybody, it does get watered down, it does get co-opted, and it does get changed. I think like twerking, right? Yeah. Originally, twerking for Black people was more like how Latinos will use their hips to do salsa. They have these beautiful hips that they use to be sensual. Black women use their butts. And when that particular type of dancing made its way to America, it was taken over by another culture, and it was sexualized in a way that went beyond what its original meaning was. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just grinding against somebody's whatever. There were dance things, like you did things like there. If an African went up there and started doing a particular dance, the African man had a dance that he would do with her. And we've just stopped doing that in America, and it's become this over-sexualized thing that doesn't make any sense. So when I think of it like that way,
you got me working in my chair right now. Like okay,
but it is the truth. Like it really was. Like maybe I'll do a deep dive one day and go in there and really research the history of twerking.
I think you should. I'd be interested.
Because it is an interesting thing. Like it really, once it became to America, it became something completely different than its actual roots. And so that's something that to be thinking about as well, is that when you do offer your culture out, you do risk it getting watered down and turned into something else. And now everybody's nogging and calling it a completely different name. Let's be real here. They'll call it like hand dancing or something like that, and be like, I invented this. It's called hand dancing. It's like
Here, I just
how everybody calls a particular move a death drop, but it's actually called a dip.
Oh yeah. This is also something that I think is interesting about this conversation. I think I'm interested also in talking about the line between like queer elder mentor and like sexuality, romance and sex, like that intersection, because I feel like also the struggle that I think a lot of Gen Z are having is like being able to navigate these queer spaces with our queer elders and it not be sexual. Like I think I'll speak for me. I everybody has their thing. I like older men. We all not exclusively. But I'm just saying like my appetite is open. I'm hungry, as the girls say. So I have had interactions with older queer people, Black older queer people, thank you, who, I am mystified, captivated, attracted to. And I've also had those interactions turn friendly, turn sour, because there's that like sexual dynamic that's at play. And so I think too, there's like a lack of, sometimes it's like a lack of boundaries on both sides. Because I definitely think that there are plenty of older queer people who, I won't say prey, that could be a word I could use, but like, prefer younger queer people, and it can become a little bit predatory at times, and it's not always that equivalent balance in that dynamic. So I think there is like something to be said on that front. Like there maybe is a lack of queer allyship from our own elders.
And I think that we can't talk about that as well without talking about like loneliness, right? Is that there's massive loneliness amongst queer people. And so sometimes they go into situations where they get mentorship from an older person. And that older queer has lived life a specific long period of time. And they have maybe not been in that type of relationship that they were hoping to be in. And they start to see this as companionship. I've been in situations where I've mentored, and my mentee, it has never been like a large gap. You know what I mean? I used to teach kids, and so it's easy for me to be like, keep yourself over there. But like mentors I've had that are within like 4 to 5 years of my age, they have started to flirt. And at times of my life where I was a little bit more, when I was a little bit more lonely, and when I was really struggling with depression and my own self-image and my self-esteem was low, I would sometimes feed into that against my own judgment, right? Wow. And it would create shitty situations. And I'd leave that being like, why did I even first? And sometimes I'm not even attracted to the human being. I'm attracted to like the companionship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's something that I think as a community, we do need to talk. We can't have the conversation about loneliness. I will say that that's only really happened on one hand. You learn your lesson real quick on that. But I've seen that happen. What'll happen sometimes is that you will have these people who want a mentorship, and they also have this thing for older men, right? And so they'll ask this person for mentorship as an in to flirting.
Yeah.
We also, as a community, are over-sexualized as well. Yeah. So, like, a lot of queer people don't feel like they can even maintain a relationship without having sex, and that is a problem.
Damn, you're clocking it. Oh my god, you're clocking it.
And the older you are, the more that particular culture was put in you. Because for a long time, that's all you could do. That's all a queer relationship could be, was sex, right? And so I think that we still have an issue in our community where everything is sex, and that blurs the line between certain things.
Yeah. Oh, damn. That is, you're just like sparking so much in me right now. Cause I'm just like, damn, like maybe that's why a lot of younger people feel this weird tension with our queer elders, is because like we see them not only as like our elders, but also like our competition, our like desire as well. Like there is so much complicated like feelings around these connections. Wow.
It gets complicated at certain times talking to certain, I mean, I will openly admit, I don't usually go into a room full of gay men very often, because I'm never sure, whether it's my peers or whatever, I'm never sure which one of these relationships they're going to try to turn sexual. And I've been victim, and I've done this myself too. I've been back in my turned up, non-healed days where I was doing self-destructive behavior. I was not known to, but I would sometimes get a little vodka in me, get a little blackout drunk, and text a friend or three. And that's my fault. I own that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit up here and sugarcoat it and be like that's anyone else's fault, or try to be like, but I'm not going to justify it. That was my bad. I should not have texted my friends while I was drunk the things that I texted them, right? And it wasn't anything like sexually explicit. It was
no,
just
but Queen, I've been there though. I've definitely
we all know
stuff.
Loneliness is hard. Loneliness is hard when you're queer, and when you're super lonely, everybody looks like an option. Me, I stopped doing. I do this thing now where and this really helps with my mentorship, and it really helps with keeping my boundaries. I keep it like 5 years. 5 years younger, 5 years older. If you are not in that radius, don't even try it. It has made it very easy to separate myself from those ones. And also, I used to get, this, we just got out of our masters. A lot of people thought I'm like in my early 20s. And so I get like 22, 23. Yeah, y'all didn't, but they out there did. It was crazy. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? You think I'm like 24? Baby, no. But I got that so much. And so I'd have these like young people flirting with me, trying to talk to me about like fucking Chappell and Glorilla. And I'm sitting up here like, who? What? Girl, I am old. Who? No, I don't know nothing about these people. Tyler, who? All I know about her is she's skinny. So and then I gotta sit up there and be like, I am 10 years older than you, my babe. Don't let the cute face fool you. We are not the same age. And so it'd be weird. It'd be weird. Anyway, we got off topic. But I think it's the dancing thing.
Oh my God.
I think it's incumbent upon.
Goodbye.
Let me finish.
You're not getting away with that. Okay. I'm sorry. I was just gagged at you for a full 5 minutes there. You go ahead. Finish your thought. Oh my God.
Look, I hope whatever I said had some type of reverence, because I be speaking sometimes. But to bring it back, I think that it's incumbent upon those of us who are older, more mature within these communities to set up spaces that are safe, that have clear boundaries, and that are welcoming to people who are interested in learning from us, in being in community with us. And in sharing journeys with us that are not explicitly sexual, that are not romantic, that are just community.
Now, here's what I will say, and just to kind of like tag on to what you're saying. I also think there is something a little bit hot about an older person like being a sexual mentor. And
here we go.
Look, we have to, if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. Because I also think, I do think that there is a lot of flexibility in the queer community. Like, I also feel like there are worlds where there are queer mentors who are older, who are sexual, and it's not, extractive or exploitative, but I do think that there is some of that. And I appreciate that. I think what you said was nailing it on the head though, of spaces, not, I think it also on maybe Gen Z's part, I think that there needs to be some recognition of time and place. There needs to be some recognition of, some discernment, I don't think that all older, younger dynamics have to be exploitative, but I think it's on Gen Z to be able to say okay, I'm in to be able to, for themselves, for people to be able to understand for themselves, okay, I am seeking mentorship. I'm not going to let this, we might flirt, it might be fun, we might kiki, but I'm going to be intentional about keeping this person as a mentor. And I think once us younger people, once people start to involve sex and once it gets enmeshed and these sort of boundaries get crossed, that's when it becomes messy. I think it's up to Gen Z and just people in both ends of the spectrum to be intentional about what the lines are, having little rules like that. And I think a lot of the 5 up and 5 down, I think a lot of people don't, like you said about loneliness, like a lot of people don't know what those boundaries are, or just so willing to or so wanting to have that companionship that they're fine in meshing them. And I think that you just have to have discernment in navigating those.
And then for people who are older, when these younger people set these boundaries, because I have seen it where they will set boundaries and the other person will see that as an attack. It's not an attack. They're saying they don't want this to cross this. They see you as a mentor, not as this other stuff. Respect that boundary, maintain that relationship.
I agree. All right, PJ. Well, we need to take another break, but we'll be back.
All right, hey y'all, we're back. Makai, I have a game today.
Okay.
We're gonna start a new segment today. We'll see how it goes. I'm calling it 8, Nibbled, or Starved.
Okay.
Today I'm gonna bring in some quotes, right? Sometimes it'll be pictures, sometimes it might just be like videos I see. And I'm gonna read these off to you, or I'm gonna show it to you, and you're gonna tell me whether you thought that they ate, like yes, work, right?
Okay.
Whether you thought they nibbled, which is they was alright.
Okay.
I mean, it was cool, so. Or you thought they starved, which is girl, what?
Okay. I want to ask, are they like themed? Like, is it like, oh, these are all queer quotes? These are, or just you're just throwing them at me?
So these are celebrity quotes today.
Okay. Don't give me any context. Don't tell me who, unless you want to. But I want to just like, give you my answer.
I gotcha. I'm gonna tell you what it is, and then after you tell me, I'm gonna tell you who the person who said the quote is. Right?
Okay.
So first quote. I have always hated anybody who is not tolerant of gay men or lesbians or bisexuals. Now I am in the very fortunate position where I can actually help or do something about it. 8, nibbled, or starved.
They ate that.
That was a quote from Daniel Radcliffe towards the Trevor Project.
Wow. Okay.
Here's another one. This is an interesting one. This one I think just went viral this week, so you might have already seen it.
Okay.
Being colored is my culture, but I'm also Black.
That was Tyla, I'm assuming. And I'm going to say she starved on that. Actually, no. She nibbled. The whole colored versus Black, I get it. It's a cultural thing. I'll give it to her. She nibbled it.
I would also say that this was a little nibbled. I get what she was trying to say. But like, okay. Okay. Oh my God. This one gagged me. I saw this last night and I had to put it in there. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm already in enough lawsuits, Dawn. Are you asking me if Josh Hawley is gay? Are you asking me if Stephen Miller is gay? Are you asking me if Speaker Johnson is gay?
I'm gonna say starved. Like, what is going on right now? What is this? Who said this?
I'm gonna give you the context. I think he ate. This is actually Hunter Biden. He was on Don Lemon's show recently, and Don was pressing him, and Hunter Biden basically said there's a cabal of closeted gay folks who are terrorizing everybody because they're unhappy. And Don was trying to press him to say the names, and this was Hunter Biden's way of saying names without alleging names. This is alleged. This is Hunter Biden's things. Don't like this. But this is a quote.
Oh yeah.
So I thought he ate. I thought this was hilarious. I was like, ooh.
Okay. With the context, I'll say nibbled. I'll change it with nibbled to nibbled.
Okay, next one. Crying about the spotlight you spent your whole life begging for just proves you never wanted the work, only the reflection.
Can you read that one more time?
Crying about the spotlight you spent your whole life begging for just proves you never wanted the work, only the reflection.
I'm gonna say they starved. Girl, bye. No. This is the thing. I want to comment before you give me context. The spotlight is very fickle. And as somebody who wants the spotlight, as somebody who wants to chase this, who is chasing the spotlight, we all chase it as artists and creators and actors. Sometimes the spotlight burns, baby, or sometimes it's cold and you want the spotlight and you're sad about being in the cold. So I don't want to hear anything about how I feel about the spotlight because I have my feelings. And the whole it sounded like they wanted to sound smart. Oh, you wanted the spotlight, but you wanted the reflection. Girl, bye. I don't need guru talk. I need the spotlight.
So that was Robert Downey Jr. He was specifically talking about the creator culture and how influencers and creators will create platforms for themselves, but then complain that they get like mean comments or people will want to like cuss them out in public.
Yeah, I think that the culture around. I'm sorry, I don't need to be just like divisive for being.
No, go ahead. This is why we got the what's it called? The teapot.
The teapot. Thank you. The teapot. I think the culture around commenting, like, okay, I understand when you put look at us. We're two Black queer people putting ourselves out there, and we're gonna get hate comments. And you know what? I love that because that's engagement. That's engagement. Thank you. But like, and so like, I understand, you know, the conflict of like, if you put yourself out there, you've got to expect the hate. But I also think that comment culture, you know, online culture, it's just shady. It's shitty. It's like, why do people feel so emboldened to be assholes online? Oh, that's right, because you're anonymous. Oh, but wait, I can track your IP address, bitch, and pull up to your house. Then what? So it's all of it is irritating to me personally.
Remember we were talking about the generation versus generation thing? To me, this is an older generation not understanding the dangers that the newer generation faces going out there.
Yeah.
Next quote. I want all those Black men to stand in our house and remind people that destroying one part of our history destroys all histories.
I want to know what was the race of the person who said that?
Black.
They ate that.
That was Whoopi Goldberg on The View this recently talking about the Knicks when they won, and how they got an invitation to go to the White House. And I don't remember how that went. Okay. I only have a few more.
Okay.
Next one. You might know who this one is.
Okay.
From context. I have a desire to bring Miles Morales to the screen and to shepherd whoever the lucky young kid is that gets that job in the way that Robert Downey Jr. did for me.
I don't know who that is. Can you read it one more time, please?
I have a desire to bring Miles Morales to the screen and to shepherd whoever the lucky young kid is that gets that job in the way that Robert Downey Jr. did for me.
I'm gonna say starved. It's just not giving. I think there's more things we could be saying with our platforms than, yeah.
So that was Tom Holland talking about Spider-Man, how there's gonna be a point where he needs to retire, and I think he said something along the lines of like, things are more interesting than just a white guy, and like he wants to bring in the next person, and he would love it to be the Black guy. Starve, cool. I gave nibbled. I like Tom Holland. He's another one of my.
We gotta talk about if we have time. We gotta talk about Doomsday. We gotta talk about it.
Okay. When the next one, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right.
Wait, what? Okay, wait. Read it again.
When the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna have to sit on that. I'm gonna have to sit on that one.
That's definitely an 8. That was Method Man.
Okay, yeah, that was good.
I have 2 more.
Okay.
This one is a longer one.
Okay.
But I felt like I had to include it in its entirety.
Okay.
What's really disturbing is I have worn outfits that are maybe revealing on stage. I've been on stage in a sparkly bra and little shorts, which is my right. That's fun. I felt cool and comfortable in that. And that wasn't inappropriate. But me fully covered up in a dress that people deemed to be childlike was inappropriate. And then followed up with how talking about a culture, how we really normalize pedophilia in our culture. Also, it's just this rhetoric we're fed as girls since we're so little, which is don't wear that because then a man is going to sexualize your body and it's your fault. It's so weird.
I'm gonna say nibbled. I'm gonna say nibbled. I feel like sometimes just say eat my ass and keep it moving. Like like that's like when I hear that, I'm just like eat my ass. Like I don't want to. Now I'm sure like okay, sorry. The context makes sense. Like I get what they're saying. I'm with them. I'm hearing it. I agree. It's these conversations are irritating to have. I know women have to have these conversations, but it is irritating. It's like, girl, eat my ass. If you don't like it, if you have a problem, eat my ass.
I agree. I agree full-heartedly. I will also say nibbled. This was Olivia Rodrigo talking about how she has that little dress that she's been wearing, and they've been telling her it's inappropriate and sexualizing her in that. Last quote. This is the last one. I saved this one for last because when this quote was made, we didn't get to have a dialogue about it.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see. You're gonna know this immediately.
Okay.
I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though like no one cares about this anymore.
Oh, is that the Timothy Chalamet quote? Can you read it again? I've heard vaguely about it. I just want to hear it again.
Okay. I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though like no one cares about this anymore.
I think that was a very Gen Z take. Opera and ballet have a long historical precedent in all of our modern day machinations. Like ballet is basically the foundation of dance in a lot of ways. Opera, I could maybe hear that argument for opera, but I'm also just not an opera diva. But like also, there's nothing. You're not like being. You're not. I'm trying to find the word, but it's like you're not saying anything new by being like these things are old and lame. Like yeah, they're old and lame, but there's like a market for old and lame things. Like ballet, you just got to take it on the chin. Like when they have ballet. The ballet concert at the actually ballet is tea, I will say, but like when they're having like the opera night at the Bean and Millennium Park, like don't show up, you know what I mean? But like don't shit on it.
So my undergraduate degree is in opera performance, and I'll say like the operas do sell well when you do them. Yeah. So it's not necessarily that like people don't want to see it per se. It's that it is a particular demographic that does go and see opera. And I don't necessarily think that it's the most accessible thing to queer people or people of color. But it does have a market. That's why it has been around. And I think that when we talk about like old school things such as ballet or opera or any other old school type of doing things, the foundation is important, right? Like if you're going to do on stage like musical singing, probably should have some opera understanding. Not so that you can sing with vibrato, but so that you understand like the system and how to use your diaphragm and how to the difference between your chest and your mixed and your head
I agree.
And other things. It creates a foundation. And so when I hear people shit on things like opera, I hear them shitting on a foundation that they're trying to stand upon, right?
Exactly. That's absolutely nail on the head. Like these are the foundational things, and like maybe you don't want to hear it, but it's the tea. Like that's just what it is. PJ, I'm looking at our time, and we are gonna have to get close to our wrapping up, so we should do our tea tales. This is our segment where we basically do a tea tale, for those of you who don't know, is just like a little anecdote, a little something you've learned about your sexuality, about yourself, recently. Do you have one right now, or I have to think of one?
I don't have one at this particular moment. Give me a moment.
Okay,
I should have been thinking about this already. I think I had one earlier and it went out my brain.
I think I might have one, and it might relate to what I wanted to talk about earlier. And this is the tea tale. You ready? Oh, actually, no. I have one. I have one. You ready? My tea tale is this: something I learned. Sometimes the thing you thought was tea turned out to be shade. And here's the truth. This is what taught me this lesson. The voice actress for Pearl came out as MAGA, and Pearl from Steven Universe, those you don't know. And it has really the way that the way that TikTok and the internet is like blowing up about this, like it's gaggy. Like this is now the second voice actor for Steven Universe to come out as conservative. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, what is this delusion? We don't need to get into the nitty gritty. This is just my tea tale. But one of the questions that came up in my mind, having learned this lesson, is what's the tea? Because this is, it's not okay. There's something going on. There is something in the water, girl. So my tea tale is sometimes the tea is not the tea, but it's shade.
Oh, my tea tale just went out of my brain. I just thought of one. What was I gonna say? I'm cute. No, I had a really oh, you know what my tea tale is?
Yes.
This week I have watched, like many queer people, this weird outrage about the Odyssey. And Elliot Page. And in some ways it feels like the goal is really to just disenfranchise us to such a point where we don't actually like exist in the public space. But watching kind of the reception of the movie after it came out and how many people really did not care about none of that. I think it's the same thing I've been saying for a while. Transphobia is an online thing. It is mostly an online movement by online people. Most people, regular people, normal people, they want real art. They don't want it to have all this other nonsense. They just cast good people, give us a show, let us decide if it's good or not. And this is just kind of a side note as well, because there were a lot of conversations about that. Another tea tale I've learned, and I'm gonna do some reflection about this on my own time, is how many Black women are harmed by transphobia. And how, as a trans woman, I can support my sisters when they are consistently given monikers of being manly or being trans or not being cute enough or stuff. I think that's something I haven't really thought about until I kind of was watching conversations about the Elliot Page of it all, which I didn't think would bring up a Black woman thing, but it in some circles it did start bringing up conversations among Black women about these particular things, and I watched it used to harm, especially about Lupita Nyong'o. I heard people talking about her using that as an attack on her, and so to try to say that she's somehow less attractive because she's like darker skinned, as if she's not like one of the most beautiful women out there. So my tea tale is we can do more to support Black women, and I, as a transgender woman, need to figure out what I can do. So if you guys have an idea of what I can do to help you guys, or like how we can best support you guys, comment, let us know. I'm always trying to learn how to become a better person. And before we go,
actually, I did have to. I was gonna say this, but well, yeah. Before we go, because I did want to mention this. Wait. What were you? Were you gonna close us out, or did you have something you wanted to add?
No. What were you gonna say?
I just wanted to hear your quick thoughts about Mystique's wig in the Doomsday trailer.
You know,
You didn't see
I
it, did
will
you?
openly admit,
You didn't see it.
I'm
did
gonna
you?
look it up because it's right here. Mystique Doomsday. All right, let's see what it looks like. What the fuck is that? The wig? Where's her hairline? Is this a bob? Is this an attempt at a kitty cat wig? Why does it look so cheap? Bitch, that is a shake and go. Who are they? Nah, they're bullshitting us. They're straight up playing in our fucking face. That cannot be the wig. That's like a Tyler Perry-esque wig. Bitch, that's a $20 wig I can get off of Amazon. Mystique? Man, what was the budget for this fucking movie? For that? Oh, Lord. And you can tell the dye was cheap, too, because it's not even red. It's like light or, like, oh my God. Get this shit off my computer. What the fuck is this? I'm
so glad you hadn't seen it before that. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. That was my real reaction. The actress is a very beautiful girl. So to see her photo next to that wig, I was like, girl, they did you dirty. Dirty. Whoever did that wig don't like you. Whoever cast you and told you to wear that wig don't like you. They don't want the best for you. They want you to suffer, baby. They trying to make you a meme.
Oh my God. Oh my
Lord.
Oh my God. P-Jay, please
I'm going to pray over this damn movie. I'm going to pray. Someone pray over that wig. That looks like it's flammable. I'm done.
No,
I'm
you're
done.
good. Please tell me your thought. What were you going to say before that? Oh my God. Please click that. Oh my God.
Oh Lord. Did you want to? I heard before we go for like 2-3 minutes. I heard that you watched one of my suggestions. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah. Actually, no, we can wait and talk about this in our next episode of content. You guys will see, you'll be seeing a little something new, a little something soon. So we can talk about it in that thing.
Oh, we're going to talk about that next time. Well, that's it for today. That was Teapot. Woo! Where we try to see the world with a little more color. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you have a good week, and we will see you next Friday at 5 p.m. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Hold on.
Hey y'all! Thank you so much for watching our video. If you had fun with us today, don't be shy. Like, comment, and subscribe. And tune in every Friday at 5 p.m. for our full episodes. Have a good day, and remember to see the world with a little more color. And remember to see the world with a